Hello, and welcome to the discussion on motivation and power. I am John Hargaden, and we are lucky again to have with us Juan Rodriguez, who graduated in 2014 with a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Administration. Juan Rodriguez runs his own professional consulting, leadership consulting company called Juan Rodriguez Professional Consulting. He is a motivational speaker and a leadership coach through the John Maxwell Foundation. So, Juan, welcome back.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. It's really wonderful to be able to be a part of this program.
So, I wonder if you have an experience of a time when someone who's been able to what I would call influence up. Okay, so you mentioned the patrolman who was able to help the captain, and maybe that's the story, but potentially as in an organizational change, as opposed to being able to just help the captain with his communication. Maybe the entire organization, someone who is lower on the organizational chart, has been able to influence someone towards the top of the organizational chart that really created a huge impact for the organization overall. Have you been able to see, or do you have any experiences where you've been able to see something like that happen?
Oh yeah. That's a really good subject to get on because a lot of times some of the best companies that I deal with when we go and do speaking engagements are the companies that are willing to put out those wonderful little suggestion box for employees, but not just put them out, but follow through with them.
Right.
Those are the companies that really make a difference because they want to know, they have vision. They want to know what is going to help them progress to the next level. And they may be so high up that they don't see how that progression is going to come, but they're smart enough to know if they go down to the bottom where all the workers are, there's
Right.
where the ideas are. So
Right.
those companies really succeed. I worked for a company a while back. It was part of a government contract, and our security supervisor, very intelligent in what he does, but there was a lot of little areas that we were kind of lacking in, and there was no vision as to how to make corrections to those small areas. My partner, who was a security specialist, uh, she kind of sat down and wrote things out. And it was kind of funny because she wrote out that spider web that you do in high school when you're trying to write a paper, and then you just write
Right.
everything that comes down to mind. And she did that, and she did that 3 times. She did it 4 times. And in fact, she did it for a couple of days in a row. And I asked her, I said, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm gonna figure this out." And what she was doing was she was creating her environment of success, is basically it. She was creating all the opportunities that could possibly happen within the company to make it better on that one instance, that security aspect. Our boss, because he was tied up with everything dealing with the government and all the military installations around us, I'm sure that if he'd have seen the process, he'd have understood it. But when we presented it to him, and she laid it on the table, and she said, "This is where we need to be, because this is where we're at." And he said, "Well, how did you get to that?" And she showed him. She said, "I had to think it through. I had to understand not just what we're doing, but what our client is doing in order to be able to come up with a solution that not only is serviceable to us, but serviceable to the entire country." So she went beyond the boundaries of what she was looking for. And the conclusion of that is the fact that they took that idea and they passed that idea unchanged up to the upper level and realized that this girl knew exactly what the company needed to solidify that security aspect for the government. Not just for the company, but for the entire government. So that's somebody in a smaller level having a vision to be able to come up and rise to the occasion. That's leadership. That's where the tires meet the road.
Well, listen, Juan, I really appreciate again you taking the time out of your busy schedule to help us work through and bring some of these concepts to life. Um, and so we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for helping.